Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm really happy you're here today.
Me too. Hi, everyone. So, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about something really important. We're talking about speaking English, but not just speaking. We're talking about what stops people from speaking English.
Oh, that's a good topic. I think many people feel nervous about speaking English.
Exactly. I meet so many people who understand English. They can read English, they can listen to English, but when it's time to speak, they stop.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They feel scared or shy, right?
Yes, scared and shy. And I think we should talk about why. Because if we understand why people feel scared, maybe we can help.
That makes sense. So, where do we start?
Well, I think the biggest reason is fear. People are afraid to make mistakes.
Mistakes. Everyone talks about mistakes, but making mistakes is normal, right?
Of course it's normal. When you learn anything new, you make mistakes. When a baby learns to walk, the baby falls down many times, but the baby keeps trying.
That's true, but I think speaking a language feels different. When you fall down, only you know, but when you speak English and make a mistake, other people hear it.
Yes, that's the problem. People worry about what other people think.
Exactly. Like, imagine you're at a coffee shop. You want to order coffee in English, but you're worried. You think, what if I say the wrong word? What if people laugh at me?
Right. And because of that worry, maybe you don't speak at all. Or maybe you just point at the menu.
Yeah, pointing is easier. No mistakes when you point.
True, but you don't learn when you point. You only learn when you try to speak.
So, what can people do? How can they stop being afraid?
Well, first, I think people need to change how they think about mistakes. Mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are how we learn.
Okay, but that's easy to say. It's harder to actually feel that way.
You're right. So let me give you an example. I have a friend named Maria. Maria is from Brazil. She learned English for many years in school.
Okay, so she knows English.
She knows English, yes. She can read books in English. She watches movies in English. But for a long time, she never spoke English.
Why not?
Because she was scared. She thought her accent was bad. She thought people wouldn't understand her.
Oh no, that's sad. What happened?
Well, one day she moved to Canada for work. She had to speak English every day. At first, it was very hard for her.
I can imagine. What did she do?
She told me something interesting. She said one day at work, she made a big mistake. She was talking to her boss and she used the wrong word. She meant to say one thing, but she said something completely different.
Oh no, what did her boss do?
Her boss just smiled and said, "I think you mean this word." And then they continued talking. That's it. No problem.
So it wasn't a big deal?
Not at all. And Maria said that moment changed everything for her. She realized people don't care about small mistakes. They just want to communicate.
Wow, that's a good story. So after that, she felt better about speaking.
Yes, much better. She started speaking more and more. And you know what? Her English got really good. Not perfect, but good enough to communicate well.
I love that. So the lesson is just try. Don't worry so much about being perfect.
Exactly. Progress is better than perfection.
Progress is better than perfection. I like that. Can I ask you something?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you think native English speakers judge people who make mistakes?
That's a good question. I think most native speakers don't judge. Most people are kind. They're happy you're trying to speak their language.
Really? Even if someone speaks slowly or uses simple words?
Yes, even then. Think about it. If someone comes to you and tries to speak your language, how do you feel?
I feel happy. I think it's nice they're trying.
Exactly. Most people feel that way. They appreciate the effort.
Okay, that makes me feel better. But I think there's another reason people don't speak English.
What's that?
They don't have anyone to practice with. Like, maybe they live in a country where everyone speaks their own language. There's no chance to practice English.
Oh, that's a very good point. Not everyone lives in an English-speaking country.
Right, so what can they do?
Well, these days we have the internet. You can find language exchange partners online. You can join English conversation groups.
That's true. There are apps for that, right?
Yes, many apps. You can video call with someone on the other side of the world and practice English together.
But some people might feel shy about that too. Talking to a stranger online can feel scary.
I understand, but here's the thing. The other person is also learning. They're probably just as nervous as you are.
Oh, I didn't think about that. So you're both in the same situation.
Exactly. You're both learning. You can help each other. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. They understand.
That's actually really nice. It takes the pressure off.
Yes, exactly. And you know what else helps?
What?
Talking to yourself.
Wait, talking to yourself, like alone?
Yes, I know it sounds strange, but it really helps. When you're alone, you can practice without any pressure. No one is listening, no one is judging.
I never thought about that. What would you say when you talk to yourself?
Anything. You can describe your day, you can talk about what you're doing. Like, imagine you're making breakfast. You can say out loud, I'm making breakfast. I'm putting bread in the toaster. I'm pouring coffee.
Oh, like a commentary on your life.
Yes, exactly. And it helps your brain practice making English sentences. You get more comfortable with the words.
That's actually a really good idea, and no one can hear you, so there's no fear.
Right. It's just for you. And over time, speaking becomes more natural.
I like that tip. Okay, so we talked about fear of mistakes, we talked about not having practice partners. What else stops people from speaking English?
Another big thing is comparing yourself to others.
Oh, yeah, comparison. That's always a problem.
Yes, people see someone who speaks English really well, and they think, I'll never be that good. Why should I even try?
That's such a bad way to think, but I understand why people feel that way.
Me too. But here's what I want people to remember. Everyone starts at the beginning. That person who speaks English really well, they were once a beginner too.
Right. They didn't just wake up one day speaking perfect English.
Exactly. They practiced, they made mistakes, they kept going, and that's how they got better.
So we shouldn't compare ourselves to where other people are now. We should just focus on our own progress.
Yes, compare yourself to yourself. Are you better than you were last month, last year? That's what matters.
I really like that. It makes learning feel less stressful.
That's the goal. Learning should be enjoyable, not stressful.
Okay, can I share something I've noticed?
Of course.
I think some people don't speak English because they think they need to know everything first. Like they want to study all the grammar, learn all the vocabulary, and then they'll start speaking.
Oh, yes, I see this all the time. People spend years studying but never actually speaking.
Right, they're waiting until they're ready. But when are you ever completely ready?
Never. You're never completely ready. You just have to start.
Exactly. It's like learning to swim. You can read about swimming, you can watch videos about swimming, but at some point you have to get in the water.
That's a perfect example. You have to get in the water. You have to start speaking, even if you're not perfect.
And you'll probably swallow some water at first.
Yes, you'll make mistakes, but that's okay. That's part of learning.
So the message is start speaking now. Don't wait.
Yes, start with simple things. Start with, hello, how are you? My name is. Just start.
What if someone really doesn't know what to say? Like they're in a conversation and their mind goes blank.
That happens to everyone, even native speakers. When your mind goes blank, it's okay to take a moment. You can say things like, let me think, or give me a second, or how do I say this?
Oh, so you can use phrases to give yourself time to think.
Yes, exactly. These phrases are really useful. They show you're thinking and they give you a few extra seconds to find the right words.
That's helpful because I think people panic when they can't think of a word. They feel like they have to answer immediately.
But you don't. It's okay to take your time. Communication is not a race.
Communication is not a race. I like that. So it's okay to speak slowly.
Of course, speaking slowly is actually better. It helps you think clearly. It helps the other person understand you. There's nothing wrong with speaking slowly.
What about accents? I know some people worry about their accent. They think people won't understand them.
Ah, yes, accents. This is a big topic.
Do you think accents are a problem?
No, I don't think accents are a problem at all. Everyone has an accent. Even native English speakers have accents.
That's true. Someone from America sounds different from someone from England or Australia.
Exactly. And they're all speaking English. They all have different accents. So why would your accent be a problem?
I guess people worry that their accent is too strong, like people won't understand them.
Okay, yes. Sometimes if your accent is very strong, some words might be hard to understand. But most of the time, people can understand you. And if they can't, they'll just ask you to repeat.
So it's not the end of the world.
Not at all. And honestly, I think accents are beautiful. They show where you're from. They're part of your identity.
I never thought about it that way. So we shouldn't try to hide our accent.
No, you don't need to hide it. Of course, you want to pronounce words clearly, but you don't need to sound like you're from London or New York. You just need to communicate clearly.
That's really good advice. I think many people put too much pressure on themselves to sound like a native speaker.
Yes, and that pressure stops them from speaking. They think, my accent isn't good enough, so I won't speak. But that's the wrong way to think.
So the right way is I'll speak, and my accent is just part of who I am.
Yes, exactly. Be proud of where you're from. Speak with your accent. It's okay.
Okay, I want to go back to something we mentioned earlier. You said people should start speaking simple things. Can you give some examples?
Sure. Let's think about everyday situations. When you meet someone new, you can practice saying, "Hi, my name is, nice to meet you."
Okay, that's simple.
Right. And then maybe you can say where you're from. I'm from, I live in. Just simple sentences.
What about at a store or restaurant?
Good example. At a store, you can practice saying, "How much is this? I'd like to buy this. Thank you."
And at a restaurant?
Can I have, I'd like, the bill, please? These are all simple, useful phrases.
So people can practice these in their daily life even if they're not in an English-speaking country.
Yes, they can practice at home. They can talk to themselves, like we mentioned earlier. Or they can practice with a friend who's also learning.
That's a good idea. Learning with a friend makes it more fun.
Definitely. And you can encourage each other. If one person feels shy, the other person can say, "It's okay, let's try together."
That's a good idea. So having support really helps.
Yes, support is very important. Learning a language can be challenging. Having someone to support you makes it easier.
What about people who have been studying English for a long time but still can't speak well? Why does that happen?
That's a great question. I think it happens because they spend too much time studying and not enough time practicing.
What's the difference?
Studying is when you learn grammar rules, memorize vocabulary, do exercises in a book. Practicing is when you actually use English. You speak, you listen, you have conversations.
Oh, I see. So studying is learning about English and practicing is using English.
Yes, exactly. Both are important, but many people only study. They don't practice enough.
Why do you think that is?
Because studying feels safe. You can study alone, you can control everything. But practicing means talking to someone, and that feels risky.
Because you might make mistakes.
Right, but like we said, mistakes are okay. Mistakes are necessary. If you never make mistakes, you're not really learning.
So people need to shift their focus from studying to practicing.
Not completely. You still need to study, but you need to balance it. Maybe study for 1 hour, then practice for 1 hour.
That makes sense. Equal time for both.
Or even more time for practicing, because speaking is a skill, and skills improve with practice, not just study.
It's like playing the piano. You can't just read about playing piano. You have to actually sit down and play.
Perfect example. You have to do the thing you want to learn.
Okay, so we've talked about fear, about not having practice partners, about comparing yourself to others, about waiting until you're ready. Are there other things that stop people from speaking English?
Yes, I think another thing is perfectionism.
Oh, wanting everything to be perfect?
Yes, some people want every sentence to be perfect. Perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect everything.
But that's impossible, right?
It's very difficult, even for native speakers. Native speakers make mistakes too. They use incorrect grammar sometimes. They forget words sometimes.
Really? I always thought native speakers never made mistakes.
No, they do. Language is messy. Real conversations are messy. People interrupt each other, change topics, forget what they were saying.
So we shouldn't expect ourselves to be perfect when we're learning a new language.
Exactly. Aim for good communication, not perfect sentences.
What does good communication mean?
It means the other person understands you. Maybe your grammar isn't perfect, maybe you use simple words, but if the other person understands your message, that's good communication.
So the goal is to be understood, not to be perfect.
Yes, communication is about sharing ideas, sharing feelings, connecting with people. It's not about being perfect.
I think that's a really important point, because if people focus too much on being perfect, they get stuck.
Right, they get stuck. They're so worried about making a mistake that they don't speak at all.
And then they don't improve.
Exactly. You can't improve if you don't practice, and you can't practice if you're too afraid to make mistakes.
It's like a cycle.
Yes, a negative cycle. Fear leads to not speaking leads to not improving leads to more fear.
So how do we break that cycle?
We break it by being brave, by speaking even when we're scared, by accepting that mistakes will happen.
And reminding ourselves that mistakes are okay.
Yes, mistakes are not just okay, they're necessary. They're part of the process.
You know what I think is interesting?
What?
I think children learn languages really easily. They make mistakes all the time, but they don't care. They just keep talking.
That's such a good observation. Children are fearless. They don't worry about being wrong, they just try.
Why can't adults be like that?
Because adults think too much. We worry about what people think. We judge ourselves.
Children don't judge themselves?
Not really. They're just focused on communicating. They want to tell you something, so they find a way to tell you.
That's beautiful. We should learn from children.
We really should. Be more playful. Be more curious. Don't worry so much.
I love that. Okay, let me ask you something practical. If someone is listening to this podcast right now, what's one thing they can do today to start speaking English?
One thing they can do today?
Yes, just one simple action.
Okay, here's what I would say. Today, find a mirror, stand in front of the mirror, and introduce yourself in English.
Introduce yourself to your own reflection?
Yes, say, hello, my name is, I'm from, I like, just simple things.
Why a mirror?
Because when you look at yourself, you can see your mouth moving, you can practice pronunciation, and it's just you, no pressure.
That's actually really smart, and it's something anyone can do right now.
Exactly. You don't need a partner, you don't need an app, you just need a mirror and a few minutes.
And if they do this every day?
If they do this every day, they'll start to feel more comfortable speaking. Their mouth will get used to making English sounds. Their confidence will grow.
I love practical tips like this. What else can people do?
Another thing is to talk about your day in English. When you wake up in the morning, describe what you're doing. I'm getting out of bed. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee.
So like a narration of your life?
Yes, exactly. It sounds silly, but it really helps. You're practicing putting thoughts into English words.
And you can do this alone, so there's no fear of judgment.
Right. It's just for you. And over time, it becomes easier and more natural.
What about people who want to practice with others but don't know where to find people?
There are so many options now. You can join online language exchange websites. You can find English conversation groups on social media. You can even use apps where you can talk to people around the world.
Are these free?
Many of them are free, yes. Some have paid options, but you can definitely find free ways to practice.
That's great. So there's really no excuse not to practice.
Exactly. The resources are there, you just have to be willing to try.
Okay, I want to talk about something else. What about people who understand English well but just can't speak? Like they can watch movies, they can read books, but when they try to speak, nothing comes out.
Oh, yes. This is very common. Understanding and speaking use different skills.
How are they different?
When you listen or read, you're receiving information. Your brain is processing what you hear or see. But when you speak, you have to produce language. You have to find words and put them together quickly.
So it's a different kind of skill.
Yes, it's like the difference between recognizing a song and playing a song. You might recognize a song when you hear it, but that doesn't mean you can play it on the piano.
Oh, that's a really good comparison. So how do people develop speaking skills?
They have to practice speaking. There's no other way. You can't develop speaking skills just by listening or reading.
But listening and reading help, right?
Of course they help. They give you vocabulary. They show you how sentences work. But at some point, you have to open your mouth and speak.
Even if it feels hard?
Even if it feels hard. And yes, at first it will feel hard. Your brain is learning a new skill, but it gets easier with practice.
How long does it take to get comfortable with speaking?
That's different for everyone. It depends on how much you practice. If you practice every day, you'll improve faster. If you only practice once a week, it will take longer.
So consistency is important.
Very important. It's better to practice for 15 minutes every day than to practice for 2 hours once a week.
Why is that?
Because your brain needs regular practice to build the skill. It's like exercise. You can't exercise once a week and expect to get strong. You need regular exercise.
That makes sense. So small, regular practice is better than occasional long practice.
Exactly. Even just 10 or 15 minutes a day can make a big difference over time.
That's encouraging because 10 or 15 minutes is not a lot. Everyone can find that time.
Yes, everyone can. Maybe in the morning before work, maybe during lunch, maybe before bed. Just find a few minutes every day.
And what should they do during those 10 or 15 minutes?
They can do what we talked about. Talk to themselves, describe their day, introduce themselves to a mirror, practice common phrases.
Simple things.
Simple things, but effective. The key is to actually speak out loud. Not just think in English, but speak.
Why is speaking out loud important?
Because your mouth needs to practice making the sounds. Your tongue, your lips, they need to learn the movements. If you only think in English, your mouth doesn't get practice.
Oh, I never thought about that. So it's physical practice too.
Yes, speaking is a physical skill as well as a mental skill.
Interesting. Okay, we've been talking for a while now. Let's summarize. What are the main things that stop people from speaking English?
Okay, let me think. First, fear of making mistakes.
Right, that's a big one.
Second, not having people to practice with.
But we said you can practice alone or find people online.
Exactly. Third, comparing yourself to others.
Instead of focusing on your own progress.
Yes. Fourth, waiting until you feel ready.
But you'll never feel completely ready, so just start.
Right. Fifth, perfectionism, wanting every sentence to be perfect.
But the goal is communication, not perfection.
Exactly. And sixth, studying too much and not practicing enough.
You need to balance study and practice.
Yes, those are the main things, I think.
So if someone can overcome these things, they can start speaking English?
I believe so. And overcoming these things is really about changing your mindset. Stop thinking about what could go wrong. Start thinking about what you can learn.
Be brave, make mistakes, and keep going.
Yes, and remember that everyone who speaks English well started as a beginner. They made mistakes, they felt nervous, but they kept going.
And now they can speak well.
Exactly. So if they can do it, you can do it too.
I hope everyone listening feels encouraged.
Me too. Learning a language is a journey. It takes time, but it's worth it.
Why do you think it's worth it?
Because when you speak English, you can connect with so many people. You can travel, you can work in different countries, you can make friends from all over the world.
That's true. English opens doors.
Yes, it opens many doors. And every time you speak English, even if it's just a simple conversation, you're opening those doors a little more.
That's a beautiful way to think about it.
And you know what else?
What?
Every time you try to speak, you're being brave, and that's something to be proud of.
I really like that, because learning a language does take courage.
It does. So be proud of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Celebrate small progress.
What kind of small progress?
Like maybe today you said one sentence in English. That's progress. Maybe you understood a conversation you couldn't understand before. That's progress. Maybe you tried to speak even though you were nervous. That's progress.
So we should celebrate everything, not just the big achievements?
Yes, celebrate everything, because all these small things add up. They lead to big improvements over time.
That's really motivating. I think people sometimes forget to celebrate the small wins.
They do. They only focus on how far they still have to go, but it's important to also look at how far you've come.
Look back and see your progress.
Exactly. Maybe 6 months ago you couldn't say anything in English. Now you can introduce yourself. That's amazing progress.
You're right. We should appreciate our progress more.
We should, and we should be patient with ourselves. Learning takes time.
How can people stay motivated when progress feels slow?
That's a good question. I think it helps to remember why you're learning. Why do you want to speak English?
Like, what's your goal?
Yes, maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want a better job. Maybe you want to understand movies without subtitles. Whatever your reason, remember it.
So when you feel unmotivated, think about your goal.
Yes, and also make learning fun. Don't make it feel like work.
How can we make it fun?
Learn about things you enjoy. If you like cooking, watch cooking videos in English. If you like sports, read about sports in English.
Oh, so connect English to your interests.
Exactly. When you're interested in the topic, learning doesn't feel like studying. It feels like enjoying your hobby.
That's smart. So you're learning English while doing something you love.
Yes, and that makes it much easier to stay consistent.
Okay, before we finish, do you have any final advice for people who want to start speaking English?
Yes, my final advice is this. Start today. Don't wait. Don't think you need to study more first. Just start speaking, even if it's just to yourself.
Start small, but start now.
Yes, and be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself harshly. You're learning something difficult, and that's brave.
I would add, find support. Whether it's a friend, a language partner, or an online community, having support makes the journey easier.
Great point. You don't have to do this alone.
And remember, mistakes are your friends. They help you learn.
Yes, embrace mistakes. They're not failures. They're part of the process.
I think we've covered a lot today.
We have. I hope this conversation helps someone feel more confident about speaking English.
Me too. To everyone listening, we believe in you. You can do this.
Yes, you really can. It might feel hard at first, but it gets easier. Just keep going.
And remember, every person who speaks English well was once where you are now. They were beginners too.
They made mistakes too. They felt nervous too, but they didn't give up.
So, don't give up. Keep trying. Keep speaking.
Even if your voice shakes, even if you use the wrong word, even if you have to think for a minute to find the right sentence.
That's all okay. That's all normal.
Yes, it's completely normal. You're learning, and learning is a process.
Enjoy the process.
Exactly. Don't just focus on the destination. Enjoy the journey.
Well, I think that's a good place to end.
I think so too. Thank you, everyone, for listening today.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and be proud of yourself.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.